Well, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll get started with this Bryant Parks Committee meeting. Before we go to the, or I'll call it to order, but a couple things I want to mention. I want to introduce Drew Martin, our newest member of our committee, representing Ward 4. So, Drew, tell us a little bit about yourself and in connection to Bryant and all that.
Yeah, so I grew up here. Family moved, I think, to Bryant in 2001. So I went to first grade at Bryant, graduated 14, and went to U of A, did my undergraduate there, got my master's at Euler, finished up there. A little bit about involvement in parks. I mean, back when I was growing up, the park was Mills Park. Like this, I don't even know what this looked like at the time I was here. I know before Bishop was made, but the Mills Park was a place where we'd all go swimming and all that. And I definitely grew up there. And I think that's probably a common story with a lot of people my age and that grew up in Bryant, but was just really was interested. Saw that this position was open and wanted to give back to the community that made me, and so reached out. And I'm just really thrilled to be here. Really excited to be here and serve.
We're thrilled to have you. So I look forward to serving with you. And I want to take just a second to again thank Amanda for all the years she served as chairman before I assumed that role. This is my first meeting as chairman, and first item we have on our agenda is approval of minutes from our January Parks Committee meeting. Do have any comments, or do I have a motion that we approve the minutes as presented?
Approve.
I second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, takes care of that. Associations and club reports. Suzanne, you have some things you want to share with us?
I do. Just he said a brief presentation, so I'm going to be very brief with y'all. Here, and you're welcome to stop me at any time, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. But this just talks about our tagline, "Great Future Start Here," and we really do believe that. And something that I will say that Drew left off was that he was a Boys and Girls Club kid, so he's got to be a good person here. Again, just a quick overview. We see about 1,000 kids from January to December in all of our different programs, including flag football, summer, and after-school programs. Our mission is to ensure every child has a mentor and a champion in life. And real quick. That's enough. Our vision is we believe behind our blue doors, everybody will find hope and opportunity along their journey. And that's something our staff strives for every single day, to find those children. If you'll hold on this one, just different programs that we're doing and the things that the kids are involved in. One of them is on engagement. We want them to be involved even as kindergarten to 5th grade, learning about giving back, not having a handout for something, but what can we do to give back, because so many people help us. So they were packing backpacks, and we had people donate different items, and we were able to give those out. We've helped at the where we were recently, it's an animal shelter. We've helped recently with that and with the food bank. So here's our pie in the face contest. When kids earn so many points, they've done that. They love that, but they even love it more so when they get to pie the staff in the face. Our petting zoo, we have those different field trips that come in. And one thing that we're different is we don't charge kids to go on field trips, because what happens is you have so many that aren't able to go. And we don't ever want them segmented to know, okay, you have money, you don't have money. So when you pay your fee, it gets things the whole time. And that's one of the things that makes us different. Foundational skills program, you see that this is an older child, and the staff will be so in tune to what you're doing. Notice that his shoes were always untied. And this just happened with a girl that was in the 5th grade the other day as well. And he said, I don't know how to tie. So they're that age, and no one has ever really stopped So some of our staff noticed that and is now teaching them how to tie because they don't need to keep going through life like that. So they take the time to do that. Our phone day over here, absolute blast, and our fire department helps with that as well. But just, especially our summertime is absolutely so much fun. This is a huge thank you to the Parks Department. Um, quick story, we had two little boys that were brothers that year before, the summer before this, drowned at a birthday party nearby. Parents, I think, were up on a balcony and the kids were all in the pool. Our one little brother kind of went under. Bigger brother jumped in to go save him. They both drowned right then. Um, and ever since then, that has just been really a huge burden on us. And the Parks Department, we got with them and with Caitlin and with Chris Treat, and they said every kid we're going to, when we see them, we're going to give them free swim lessons. Again, so many kids would never get that opportunity. And now they leave here by the end of the summer knowing how to swim, at least basic how to save themselves. So that was our big, big thank you to the park and to y'all for allowing that to happen. And we're going to continue that this year as well. Here's our flag football program. Again, shout out to the Parks Department. They get our fields ready. Everything is just so seamless with our partnership with Parks. We have just a ton of kids that are playing in it. We've had some girls play in it. We've not had any major issues. It's just been a real successful program. That serious face there. Something a lot of people don't realize is we, in the summertime, provide hot meals, and you can tell it's not a hot dog, basically. It's, or chicken nuggets. We have a partnership with USDA, and they come in and provide hot meals, milk, juice, breakfast, lunch, every day for our kids. And you'll see some of them, can I get leftovers, or can I go get another plate, or can I have one more meal? They love it. So they start every day with a hot breakfast and a hot lunch. So we started 15,050 hot meals this past summer and 51,550 free snacks. That is a variety of different things. We have different partners that help us provide those snacks. But that's something every single kid, again, gets. We don't say, if you don't have money, you can't come up here in the concession line. It's everybody can come up, and you can't tell who has it and who doesn't. And again, for the whole year, we had 1,210 youth served. Again, you can tell all the different things. This was one of our newest programs here, was a virtual reality, and it was on different careers. And so you can put that on, and it can help you change a tire, or be a dentist and look in teeth, or there was a ton of different options. And so that was a huge hit this year. The music, of course, our sports, we have every Friday where you dress up like a theme. So the kids do it, the staff does it. It is a ton of fun. That's again our pie in the face with our mentors. But that's not just the staff that we have. What we try to tell the community is that's 110 kids that we've probably opened the door for their first job, their first paycheck. When they're filling out their paperwork, they're coming to us going, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to fill out a W-2. I don't have a bank account. We actually go with them step by step and help them get all that set up. This is Chief Minden. He's on our board. Our kids aren't just given a place to stay after school and during the summer. It's not babysitting. They're learning, being mentored, developing leadership skills, and the pride of every community is rooted in their youth and programs. And this club has hundreds of youth every day. This was something new we got to do, which we say we got to be part of history. We got invited to bring a group to Governor Sanders' inauguration at the Capitol. The kids all got, I think the parents were as excited as the kids to be able to be a part of that day. I got to go out and eat afterwards, I believe, too. But you can see Mr. Bozeman right there, and well, there were several of them that they actually got to go around and visit and tour. They absolutely love being a part of that special day. And then here's just different parts of our programs. The art program, which is probably the most popular, Passport to Manhood, just for our younger boys, and it teaches them everything from just being respectful and courteous and how to treat people, how to have manners, how to tie a tie. Power Hour, they're helping them with their homework or different kind of skills that they're maybe missing out on. Summer Brain Game is a big one in the summer because studies show you how much kids lose in the summer from school. And so we work with the school district to have programs doing that. Girls United, there's our gardening program over here. Music program, we've got a dance program, Triple Play, where they're always out in the gym or even on the fields here. And then our STEM program, where they're learning how to make or do activities for STEM. This is something that me and our board are super proud of. According to our audit, which we get done every year by Yelp and Lovell Company, so right now, 85% of everything we spend goes right back into programs. And there's a lot of clubs that aren't there yet and can't. I mean, it's difficult to get there, but that's a focus of our board. And so you can see we're 8% fundraising, 7% general and management, but the majority of everything goes right back into our program. This is a famous Denzel Washington quote that I absolutely love. It says, at the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even what you've accomplished. It's about what you've done with those accomplishments. It's about who you've lifted up, who you've made better, and it's about what you've given back. And that's something that we try to focus on every single day. That is it. Any questions?
Thank you, Suzanne. That's,
Absolutely.
these are some pretty impressive numbers. Boys and Girls Club is an example of we can work together in this community. I mean, it's a real jewel.
I probably shouldn't go on record to say this, but I'm going to. I will say that with Chris and Keith and this group, it's probably been the very best we've ever had. There's usually a few kinks somewhere, but this group, I really think, I mean, I had the night before the bad ice storm happened, probably 10 minutes before 6 o'clock. All of a sudden, that wind that was out there blew open our concession stand window, busted, shattered. You know, everybody here's gone home. I called Chris, like, what do I do? And he's like, we'll be down there. We're taking care of it. Don't worry. I don't want anybody breaking in, plus I didn't want the snow and ice. But that's just the type of relationship we've had with this committee, with everybody that is associated. Anytime we have a need, everybody's always so easy to work with. We really, really appreciate that.
Thanks for all you do. And team.
Do we know when the golf tournament is?
June is all I know right now.
I expect to see you there, Chairman.
Right. I think you said yes, and it's in the minutes.
Well, I normally shoot 130.
It don't matter. All for the cause.
I've only been playing. I've only been playing for 40 years. So. Director's report, Keith.
I want to say for the Parks Department as well, before I go into the director's report, how thankful we are for the Boys and Girls Club and the service that they provide to our community. And we're also very appreciative of the relationship that we have and how we can then work together. And so I'd like to say a little bit more on the swim lessons. Big shout out to Kristen Robinson, our aquatics coordinator, our aquatic superintendent now. You know, that she was awarded the ARPA, Arkansas Recreation and Parks Association Professional of the Year for last year. And a big part of that was, you know, working with the Boys and Girls Club, because this is something that no one else is doing. You know, the fact that every kid that comes through that club is getting free swim lessons, and swim lessons they're not cheap. So, you know, to be able to offer that is something that, you know, that Bryant is doing that's really ahead of the curve on that. I know that when we started, if y'all are familiar with Mills Park Pool or even the pool here, you know, obviously at Mills Park Pool, everyone wants to go down the slide. Slide was built in the deep end. Ideally, that's probably not the best place for it, but that's, you know, years ago, that's where it was built. And so those kids that can't pass a swim test are not allowed to go down the slide. So you got a lot of these Boys and Girls Club kids that they want to go down the slide. They're there to have a good time, and they can't pass the swim test. So you've got 15% of the kids are able to actually utilize the slide, and everybody else is over here crowded up in the shallow end because that's the only place they're allowed to go. Or same thing here on the diving board. You know, it's the same situation. And so I don't have the exact percentages. Kristen would, and if I knew I was going to talk about it, I would have gotten the numbers from her. But I know that when we started, there was very few kids in the Boys and Girls Club that could swim. And this year was our second year of doing it. And I think that Kristen told me by the end of the year, over the half the kids coming through the club were already swimming and passing the swim test. And, you know, our ultimate goal is kids that come through the club for however many years that is, by the time they graduate out of the club, every kid's swimming, you know, and the impact that can make on the community long term. If you've got they see over 1,000 kids. If all these kids are coming through and swimming, you know, make long term. So I do want to give a big shout out to Kristen. It is a thing that I know Suzanne is, and we are very proud of it as well. It's a great thing that we're partnering and doing there. So so on the director's report, also Keith Cox, assistant director, I'm filling in for Chris tonight. He is out on vacation, so I'll be handling the director's report. First thing, the sporting event schedule. If you look at the back of your agenda there, that is our, we talk a lot about our our events that we do that bring visitors into our community. That is our schedule for the upcoming spring and summer. It is, as you can see, pretty busy. I think up until the time that school starts back in middle of next August, I think we have 3 weekends that we don't have any event scheduled for, and that'll be starting next weekend. One of those weekends is the eclipse, and we purposely did not schedule any events for that weekend because we're still a little, you know, unsure of what to expect as far as the area with the eclipse, and also to give our staff a little bit of a break leading up to that Monday. And then I know the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, we purposely block off just to give our staff a rest as well from the Memorial Day weekend. So busy schedule. We're still waiting. Everything should be there. We're still waiting on the Barracudas summer swim program. They'll usually have a few swim meets that come in the summer, but they haven't set those dates yet. So there may be a few swim meets that get added with the Barracudas, but for the most part, that is our tournament schedule coming up this spring and summer. It is a slight increase from last year. I think it's 2 more events than we had last year. However, we do have more 2-day events, which benefits in the economic impact, because if you have 2-day events, more likely of people staying in hotels and spending more money in the community, which is, you know, a big focus that we're trying to do with these events, is bring visitors into our community to spend money here. Any questions on the
Yeah,
schedule?
I'm looking, February 24th, 25th. Have we opened restrooms yet? I'm assuming not after last night.
I'm gonna talk about that here shortly.
All right, I'll wait.
But yes, restrooms are open.
Okay.
Short answer is yes, restrooms are open, but yes, next weekend will be our first baseball tournament.
And, hold on, make sure I don't jump the gun. Yeah, I'll jump the gun as well. I guess the back netting's been all, will be completed soon. Is back netting done on A complex? That's up.
You're getting ahead of all mine.
Well, you shouldn't have started at the schedule yet.
Yeah.
Good lick.
Next time I'll do the schedule last next time, yeah.
Make sure we're covered for the events that's gonna happen next week. Okay, I'm not gonna step on any toes, go for it.
Any other questions over the schedule?
Get to see lacrosse on there too.
Yes, so lacrosse, they actually have their first, it's an exhibition game tonight. You know, Adam normally tries to come and be here. They have their first exhibition game tonight, and they have over 20, or right at 20, I think, home games scheduled out at Alcoa as well, so. Yeah, and one thing with Midland and soccer, you know, their league is region wide, so a lot of times just their league games bring visitors into the community as well. So yeah, I mean, obviously Bishop Park is the focus, but we do have other parks as well that are bringing visitors in. All right, if there's no other questions over that, I'll answer Cody's questions then. So we talked about some ongoing maintenance projects. The A backstop netting has been completed. So, you know, that was the one that when they built the park, it was, you know, they put a little more money into that. That was the coated netting, and it lasted from the time the park was built until now, whereas we had to replace the rest of the netting about 6 years ago, I think. We did replace that. It is the coating and everything again, so we expect to get, you know, at least 10 years out of that netting again from that project. The splash pad pump house, the area, if you go around behind the center, there's a little pump station out there that runs the splash pad. The roof had caved in on that. It was kind of a wooden roof that just didn't hold up. We did finish building that house over that, so that's been completed. And then the drainage project behind the center has been completed as well. So right now, as far as capital maintenance projects, there's nothing ongoing at this point. All projects were completed before we got into our spring season, so we should be ready for the events that are coming shortly. One thing we talked about last month was the situation with the bathrooms out here at the ballpark. You know, kids are practicing, and in the past we have kept those closed until a lot of the really cold temperatures were out of the forecast, so that we could de-winterize those bathrooms. You know, I think warmer weather's come earlier this year than it has, you know, in previous years, knock on wood. So we have opened those bathrooms up. The water's all done. I know that this weekend, I think there's a 27 or something in the forecast, but it's kind of an outlier. You got some warm days around it. I don't think that we're really concerned with that one night causing any problems. So all restrooms have been opened. We talked about some heating those restrooms. I did go back and we did some, kind of looked into what a cost would be for adding heat to those restrooms. What we have gotten is we're looking at probably about $1,200 to do that. That would be with our guys handling the install.
That's $1,200 per.
No, that would be $1,200 total. So that would be for supplies to put into the baseball, softball, and soccer restrooms. If you break that down, I mean, we're talking about, because it is, our budget does work with different parks. So you're talking about $800 for Bishop and $400 for Midland Park. And that is, you know, our grounds and maintenance team, they feel confident that they can handle the install on that. This would be for the supplies to add heating into those bathrooms. So if the temperatures stay up and we're not looking at anything that is, you know, dangerous for risking freezing temps, and I think this is something that we'll monitor the budget this year and hopefully, you know, look at doing this at the end of the year before next winter. If for some reason that we see the temps drop off and we're worried about those bathrooms, it's about a 2-day project for our guys to do that. So if that happens, I mean, with the cost being split up amongst 2 parks, I think that it is something that could be part of our operations budget to do that. I think that, you know, looking at this being the total cost and the impact that it would make, you know, I don't think there's necessarily a motion or anything. With your guys' support, I think that that's something we would think is a valuable use of our resources to go ahead and add that to those restrooms so that in future years, we're not running into this where the bathrooms are closed while kids are out there practicing.
Right. Do we know the average cost that the city employees do to winterize the bathrooms and unwinterize, roughly estimated costs?
You know, I would say that just on I have not run that, so it's gonna be a rough estimate. But right. I would say just on little supplies here and there that we run into, we probably have, you know, a couple of $100 a year on that. I think the bigger thing becomes the labor cost of us.
Right, that's your biggest expense. Exactly. Is the labor going to be on that, and it frees up people to go do other activities.
Exactly, and I'm not including the labor in this because this is just $1,200 for supplies. But we're talking about doing it one time and not having to do it anymore. You know, whereas right now we're winterizing every year and unwinterizing every year. You know, so and even the time of that, if we got cold temperatures this come in at some point this spring, we're gonna lose a day for our guys to winterize it, and then a day for them to unwinterize it again when we've already done that one. So right. I do think that, you know, it is an upfront cost,
but I think it pays for itself.
It would pay for itself very soon. Yeah. So I think that's something that, and like I said, it does split up over 2 different parks, which budget-wise does make a difference when some of that is going to be at Midland as well.
Alcoa 40, does it have
new restroom? And all of the new restrooms we built already had heat.
Okay.
So this would, Ashley, Mills.
That's what my next question was. Mills.
So Mills.
Is updated also?
So Mills, the old restroom at Mills over that's closer to the pool, between the pool and the large pavilion, those we closed. And this is not including doing that there. However, the difference at Mills is that the newer restrooms at the playground stay open year round. So even though we close those older ones, people can still go to the newer ones during the winter. Any other questions over the maintenance or the heating before I talk about just an update on the grant? So last month we talked about the National Fitness Campaign grant, and we moved, myself and Rebecca, our grant coordinator, we moved forward with that. A big part of it being that it was non-binding, and if the money wasn't there, we weren't on the hook for it. As we got into the application process, there was not a requirement, but a strong recommendation for a promise or assurances from the department, the city, to match whatever funding we received. At that point, we kind of took a step back, like, not that we don't think this is a good project, we wouldn't like to do it, but at this time, I did not feel like this would be top priority for us to match any capital funding for. What I heard last month is our top priority, and I agree completely, needs to be lighting this park, for major safety concerns that we all have. And so, I communicated to the, National Fitness Campaign that, you know, we want to stay in touch with you, we want to keep working with you, but at this time, we're not going to go to city council and ask for them to match a grant for the outdoor fitness courts. So, you know, right now, I mean, we're going to roll it to 2025 and keep it on our radar, but I don't think that we will move forward with that process this year. And on the lighting grants, I know that I spoke to Rebecca today. She's still working on some. She felt like she kind of was moving in the right direction for one, and they communicated that the grant cannot parking lots or roadways, which is, I think, probably our biggest need right now is this street right here and the parking lot. So she's going to keep looking. I mean, this is something that, as we talked about last month, we have, you know, lighting grants have been top priority for a couple of years now. They're difficult to come by. So, but that's something we'll keep working on.
So the grant that she was pursuing was parks oriented?
Yes. The lighting grant?
Yes.
Yes.
I wonder if there's the potential for getting grants for, you know, street and safety, you know, aspects or organizations that are working in that.
She was attempting to reach out for, I think, I'm not a grant, but I think it's a TAP grant that is more street. So she was working, that was kind of the direction she was headed in when I spoke to her today. So
kind of seems to me there's a couple of different angles we can pursue. And that may be one of them.
Yeah. Any other questions over anything on the director's report?
All right. I recognize Councilman Mosley and Councilman Liddell. Glad to have you here. Any public comments? All right. You're doing a great job. Yeah, well, thank you. Rob, you said that just like I asked you. About old business, any old business you got? Any new business? Committee comments?
Oh, yes. I walked in late, so I missed.
This is Drew Martin.
Hi, Drew.
He is our recently appointed committee representative for Ward 4.
Okay,
So,
nice to meet you. Glad to have you.
Amanda Jolly. Formerly of Ward 3, by the way.
I just,
You were raised in my hood. Yeah.
Did you move or was it re?
You got 6,000 acres.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. I moved.
Probably thought that was councilman. Close to the same roadway as me.
It's true, he did move in and I moved out pretty quick, didn't I?
All right, if there's no other public comments, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
I need a motion.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
All right, second by Drew. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Nice to meet you.